mighty. Good effort, Perryman. It's Pickett.
He's going to score.
He's done it in a grand final against the Giants. And now he's kicked the winner.
Hello and welcome to Thursday Lines. I'm your host for today, Nikki. Thursday Lines is proudly brought to you by Little Birdie TV, topsport.com.au, Punting Form and The Comics Lounge. Oh my God, we've got such a good show today. I can't wait to get into it. MG, how are you?
Good, Nikki. Good to see you back on board.
I'm so excited.
You kicked out OB again and you're bossing him around, I see.
It's that time of year all the kids are sick, so I'm happy to fill in whenever he needs to, no problem.
Yeah, man down. So the co-captain steps back in. Yeah, no, it's a big week in AFL. Looking forward to discuss that later. We had actually a very good week. Some close finishes, high-quality games. There's plenty of scoring. And my favourite team, Carlton, just never failed to disappoint as well. So big news for Collingwood with Goodwill being out in the tribunal as well. So, yeah, pretty good week in the AFL.
And did I see overnight that Clayton Oliver's in hospital? He's not looking good at all either. So
an infected blister at the moment, apparently.
Oh, is that it?
What about
no experience in an infected blisters myself, but he is in hospital for that reason. So it is a Monday game, so they're still hopefully to get up. But, yeah, obviously makes a big difference if he does miss.
Okay, thanks, MG. Now, Toprope. Oh, my God. Big story. Cleary gone. What's going to happen to New South Wales? I am loving all of the stuff that's been thrown around at the moment for Origin.
First of all, Nikki, let's all send our prayers to Clayton Oliver and hope that infects the blister and out from some significant sporty action. I'll be up late at night praying to the God of choice on that one. Absolutely astonishing behaviour. Huge week in league, huge week in world sport. It's all happening. Loving this Nathan Cleary stuff. Kind of probably got away with a bit of a pass that he shouldn't have after another ordinary performance in Origin. The interesting part will be what Fittler does. Of course, Cleary's on his hamstring. He's out for probably 5 to 6 weeks. We'll miss at least one Origin, probably 2. He's been addicted to this Penrith stuff for a while, Fittler. And he built the whole team around Cleary. You got to imagine with Cleary not there, a few other positions come under the microscope. He's so big on club combinations. Do we look at like an Adam Reynolds, Cody Walker situation, and Nico Hines get his run? What's this mean for lock forward? Does Cameron Murray then usurp Isaiah Yeo? Does Damien Cook knock out Api Coruscant? Probably not. Coruscant had a very good game. It's the flow-on effects of this Cleary injury are going to be massive, and with Brad Fittler essentially having one game to save his job, it's a fascinating storyline heading into Origin.
He loves calling for this man's job. How does Nico Hines just not be an automatic starter? He should have been playing. He should have been playing game 1, and now all of a sudden, the talk seems to be he's going to miss out on game 2. I mean, New South Wales trying to throw this on purpose, Toprope.
It's classic New South Wales selection. Of course, Hines been the best halfback in New South Wales for the last 18 months. Aside from Cleary, he should have been there at 5'8" for Origin 1. He's got to be there for Origin 2. So, for me, I'd be playing Nico and Cody Walker, and I'd probably have my last dollar of that. Brad Fittler probably doesn't agree with me. I call for his job constantly in G because New South Wales have been favoured 16 times in 16 games, and they've managed to win 8. So, pretty ordinary record.
Well, good for you, Toprope. Makes you look like a genius every time Origin rolls around and keep tipping
wonderful
wins.
For both the betting accounts, for my position as an understander of the great and glorious game of rugby league. It gives me nothing but content to write. So, look, I'll be honest. Deep down, I would like Brad Fittler to keep this job because it's been great for the Nick Tedeschi business.
I love it all. Oh my God, I love it all. All right, let's go over some round 12 AFL results, MG.
Yeah, we had a shortened week, only 7 games, but geez, they packed it in plenty of highlights. Unfortunately, the first game of the round definitely wasn't. Melbourne Carlton was one of the more ordinary games of AFL you will see. Lucky for us that as we predicted, it's very easy at the moment with the Carlton. The modelers still haven't jumped off Carlton. We predicted that the line would come down. We waited until the day of, back as low as 14 and 15, the line, and was lucky because they only won by 17 in a very ordinary game. So that was a good read of the market and a good result for punters. Game 2, Port Adelaide, Hawthorn. Port Adelaide just dominated the first half. That's one of the best first halves I've seen in a long time. Hawthorn didn't show up and they turned the switches off after half time. So that was a very high-scoring game. Now Port Adelaide won 9 in a row. Collingwood just got the job against West Coast, who clearly aren't trying. They've now lost 34 of 37 games or something, West Coast. Collingwood have now won 8 in a row, so they just got the job done in Perth. The upset, there was a good upset here where Geelong, just outside against the Bulldogs, lost 3 in a row. They got a very good win there against the Bulldogs. Bulldogs kicked themselves out of it, not the first time this year. They've kicked inaccurately, which has cost them the match, and that continues down at the Doggies, unfortunately. Very good match again. Gold Coast pick up the 2 wins in Darwin. Very good win against the inconsistent now Adelaide. Their win-loss sequence extends to 5. Gold Coast 2-0 in Darwin. They'll be looking for more games next year. It was actually a very good game. An easy watch on the over there if you'd followed the 162 in dryish weather up in Darwin. And then the 2 Sundays, we didn't think we'd get much action here, but they were, as you can see, very high-scoring games, and a goal separated both of them. So quite exciting. Richmond in the upset against GWS, and Essendon, your team, just getting the job done against the Kangaroos for the second time in 3 weeks. The Kangaroos have had chances to win the game and haven't got it done. So, yeah, no, very exciting Sunday, and your Bombers now 3 in a row.
I know, that was a tough watch, actually, and I was chatting to a mate who's a massive North Melbourne supporter on it, and I was like, geez, they almost deserved the win, and I felt bad for them because they had a couple of tough breaks, and the Bombers just threw it away after the first quarter, I thought. But, happy to take the win and see where my season takes me, because the Chooks have thrown it in.
You weren't feeling too sad singing the Essendon theme song after the match. So
not at all. All right, let's have a look at some round 12 stats. Okay, we've got 4 of 7 faves, 3 of 7 covers, 6 of 7 overs, and 4 of 7 for the home teams. And for the season, we're sitting at 62% of faves, 45% of covers, 54% over totals, and 51% for the home team.
Yeah, trend continues, Nikki. The barometer, I guess, for favourites is around that 70%, so it's definitely been a bookies year overall so far. It's low side favourites, and as you can see, more outsiders and favourites have been covering, and the scoring continues. The over totals running at 54%. So,
thanks, MJ. All right, let's go and unpack some NRL. Here we go, round 14, top rope.
Yeah, the game, the round looked like it started off pretty slow. The Raiders held an 18-0 lead with 10 to go, and then a sim to Tom Starley, all of a sudden it was 18-all. Luke Brooks hit the field goal, put the Tigers up 19-18 with 3 minutes to go, and then a penalty goal late. Jamal Fogarty was a fair penalty, but the Raiders 20, Tigers 19. Rough luck for those in the Raiders, -1.5. Well done to those in the Tigers, +1.5. Warriors comfortably over the Dolphins, 30-8. Period in the second half, they just ran away with it much closer than the scoreline said. Titans blew another half-time lead, led 22-16 at half-time against the Bunnies, 46-28 in the final there. Covered the big style as well, the Bunnies. Broncos, Sharks and grinder. A lot of Broncos backed up, which was a bit of a surprise. Been a very disappointing Sharks, 20-12. Luke Keary field goal, the difference between the Roosters and the Bulldogs, 25-24. Bulldogs very, very good in that one. Josh Carver a double. Did well with Reid Marnie off the field as well for a significant period of time. Cowboys, something that's on 45-20. It was the second biggest score conceded in the Craig Bellamy era. So, worrying time for the Storm. They were dreadful in that second half. And Penrith, 26-18 over the Dragons. A little note of interest there, other than the Cleary incident where his hamstring went. The total of that one was 42.5. So a drop kick that went out on the full, a penalty goal after full time, sent that one over the total.
Thanks, Toprope. Okay, can we have a look at some quick stats, please? All right, we've got 5 of 7 faves, 2 of 7 covers, 4 of 7 over totals, and 4 of 7 for the home teams. And for the season, that takes us to 62% of faves, 43% of covers, 47% over totals, and 60% for the home team.
Yeah, we've got a slight laying the under over the over this year, but the big story there is the underdogs covering at 57%, so the line's probably a little too big this year.
Thanks, Toprope. All right, let's have a look at the global wrap because, God, we've got a lot to unpack today.
Yeah, we're going to hide the lead, but we'll start off with the NBA playoffs. We haven't got odds up there because currently, as we're filming, Game 3 is going on, so it's 1-1 at the moment, going down to Miami, and I think it's been a close start to the match as well. But going into it, the Nuggets were still solid. Favourites $1.38 to win the series, but obviously a couple of big games coming up in Miami with Jimmy Buckets carrying the Miami Heat. Chance for the upset.
So excited. I was just telling you, Toprope, I was telling MJ, one of the boys at work, he grew up in Denver and he is beside himself. It's like every day he's like, don't talk to me.
Yeah,
If they don't win, he's going to jump off the cliff. I don't know.
Jeez, that's a bit extreme.
I'm telling you, he's that concerned about it. All right. So the NHL, what have we got, MG?
Yeah, the Stanley Cup continues. The Vegas Knights have got out to a 2-0 lead against Florida. So Game 3 plays on Friday for those who are betting. You can find all the prices at Top Sports.
Thanks, MG. And I'm going to go straight to some French Open men's odds because I can't believe the games we've got coming up for the semi. So we've got Alcaraz, or Alcatraz as you like to call him, $1.70. Djokovic at $3. Zverev is $9 and Casper Ruud at $10.
Yes, unfortunately, they're not going to play off in the final, so they play off in the semi-final, the two favourites there. Yep. Currently around the $1.50 Alcaraz, and Djokovic is at the $2.68, almost $2.70 range. So it looks like the winner, from that side of the semi is going to go on and win the final. But yeah, the semi-final looks like being the highlight in the men's this year.
Okay, thank you. And what about the women's? You think there's going to be an upset? We've got Swiatek at $1.35, Sabalenka at $3.60. Mukova at 18 and Haddad Mayer at 21.
Yeah, I thought Swiatek's been a very short favourite for the whole 2 weeks, and she's obviously just cruised through to the semis. She's going to be unbelievably short. She's a $1.04, $1.05 chance in the semi-final, which just shows the lack of depth in women's tennis, unfortunately, at the moment. But yeah, if Sabalenka gets through in her semi-final, she's $1.31 current betting. I think she's a real chance. She'll be a decent outsider in the final. Swiatek's obviously... she's like a Hingis type. She's slightly framed and gets the ball back into play, plays a lot of the percentages. But Sabalenka, the way she's playing at the moment, she's all power. Yeah. And if she gets it on her terms, I think she'll run a hot final here at some good value. So, yeah, looking forward to that on the Saturday.
We love some value. Thanks, MG. Okay, now what everybody is talking about, what the world is talking about, golf. Toprope. There we go. Talk me through the Live Golf PGA merger because this is absolutely breaking the internet at the moment.
Yeah, happy to call this the biggest sporting story probably of the decade. To be honest, it was, if not the biggest, maybe the most shocking. Yeah, we were talking off air beforehand. I kind of have I'm a 8-month-old and woke up at 3 a.m, feeling crying. Went up to resettle him and. Looked at my phone and it said that they'd merged, and I just assumed it was a joke and went back to bed thinking, oh, someone's being hysterical. Woke up and actually true. This is about as wild as it gets. It looks, on the face of it, that the Saudis have essentially bought World Golf, that they will be in charge of the body that oversees it. There's still plenty of detail to come. You're kind of getting from the Live side that the Live team kind of side of things will continue. You're getting from Greg Norman, who was left out of the kind of discussions that the plan will be for the Live brand to go forward. Not sure about that. Rory's saying he expects it will die. There's plenty of issues around the PGA Tour players who are loyal and knocked back all the money, who are now going to have to compete with those who were smart and took the cash. So your Cameron Smith, your Dustin Johnsons. So I imagine there's a fair degree of filthiness with Rory, with John Rahm, with Will Zalatoris, and a few of those types. You've got Jay Monahan, the president or the commissioner of the PGA Tour, who was so outspoken about taking Saudi oil money and the human rights abuses that have come that have kind of emanated from Saudi Arabia. now taking on an elevated position and taking the cash, the hypocrisy is something else. So, wild times.
Oh, it's absolutely, the memes that are going around are the best I've seen in a long time, and I can't wait. And everyone's like, Pori, Rory, John Rahm, 300 million. What an idiot. Who wouldn't take 300 million? I'd take it tomorrow. And then, you got Brooks, obviously, he's got no love lost with Brandel, and he's like, welfare check on Brandel, come on. It's the best. It's the best.
So it just shows that cash is still king, Toprope. Doesn't matter how the world economy is going. What your beliefs are and everything like that. Once the cash is presented, it trumps everything. It's good to see.
I always go back to the old wrestler, the $1 Million Man. And, he's like, everybody's got a price, and everybody's got a price, and there's no better money than there's no more reliable money than Saudi oil money. There's the hot tip. So they've got their sport, and now it's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out. Now, from a local point of view, I wrote a piece about in The Guardian from yesterday from an Australian point of view. Like the there's winners and there's losers. It's hard not to see Cameron Smith as a massive winner. Hard to see like Mark Leishman, Matt Jones as winners out of all this. In terms of losers, those lower tier Australian players on the PGA Tour probably, a bit the worse off. Probably not getting as many tournaments. But I think the real fascinating part for Australian golf is, after the success of Live Adelaide, there was plans to expand coming out for a couple of weeks. What does this mean for getting the best golfers out to Australia and to other countries on the global stage? Not just second tier DP Tour, World Tour events. We're talking about kind of the elite of the elite, getting them out to Australia for a tournament or two. How's that kind of fit into all this? So that's kind of the detail I'll be looking for over the coming weeks.
Oh my God, I can't wait. How do we get you on the tour, MG? You're a decent golfer. Come on.
Please.
You are a decent golfer.
Not how I've played of late. The Toprope, I hope the Live tournament is, I know it's not locked in and contracts will probably change and stuff, but geez, we've got a busload going over for the Live next year at Adelaide, so I hope they don't pull the pin on that just from a personal view.
Same. I'll be there next year, so I was, I'm very keen to see this continue. So, what's
a likelihood of it changing so quickly where, or when's the schedule come out for 2024 where we'll know things like that?
I think we'll have I don't think we'll all know for sure for a little while, but I will say that I would be surprised if there wasn't some kind of event based around teams till next year with the Live part. So I expect that will continue, at least for next year. But I guess the question is going to be not so much whether there'll be an event here, it's what level of player that they're going to get out here. It was so successful because, we got Dustin Johnson and Cam Smith and Phil Mickelson and all these major winners out here. How does that play out next year if you've got 14, these Live events plus, 10 elevated events plus 4 majors plus the players? Like, they're not all going to be able to come. Part of what these guys sold out for with their cash is that they were committed to playing every event, and that was important for the control of them. And Live Adelaide worked because you had all those players out here. Could it be better next year? Look, it might be awesome if all of a sudden, I don't think this is going to happen. All of a sudden, John Rahm, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth are on teams. It becomes ever better. But I'd say the more likely scenario is that becomes more a diluted event, and that could be problematic.
Food for thought. I am looking forward to it. All right, now it is time for Thursday Lines, proudly brought to you by topsport.com.au, family owned and operated for over 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with TopSport. Let's have a quick look at some premiership prices, MG.
Yeah, Collingwood, obviously 11-1, sitting on top of the ladder, 325. They haven't really changed too much. And with their draw and how they're going, they obviously got play Melbourne this week. So that betting might change depending on that result for next week. Equal favourites, Brisbane and Melbourne, second there at 525. Port Adelaide obviously going strong. They've won 9 in a row at 650. Geelong at $10. And then there's a bit of a gap going out to the Bulldogs. So, yeah, I said, for most of the first half of the year, there's a top four and extend themselves. Obviously, Port Adelaide push their way in there. So, of the value punters outside of that, I think it's pretty hard to find. And, I'm just going to stick with Brisbane at this stage from pre-season.
Yeah, why not? Look at where you're at. Okay. All right. Loving it. Let's have a look at some round 12 results. Talk me through it.
Yeah, the Stings, solid week. Only had 4 bets this week. We managed to get 3 out of 4, so there's certainly no complaints. But it was just, I don't know, it didn't match up. We only had 7 games, so 2 less games to partake in. But pretty much a quiet week, which we probably haven't had for 4 or 6 weeks. Yeah, but good result. And the one we missed out on, unfortunately, there was under total, and they kicked the goal with about 2 minutes to go to force that over. So you can't win them all. So for the year at the moment, no complaints, up 30 units at 15%. So the Stings is going along nicely at this stage.
0 complaints if you're on the Stings. That is a great result. All right, let's have a quick look at some NRL now. Talk me through some premiership markets, because I think this is going to be wide open in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's interesting. Penrith have kind of stayed steady at 370 mark, even though Cleary's going to be out for 5 weeks. Missed a period last year, turned out to probably be a blessing in disguise, freshening up. So we'll see how that plays out for them. But the Buddies are clearly the top danger here. They are standing out there as the second top pick. I don't have respect for Brisbane. They just keep on doing what they're doing here. They're at $6. That's the shortest they have been for a premiership in many, many years. So right in the mix, they're currently second on the table. Storm stayed steady at $8. They were embarrassed last week. Let's see if they bounce out this week. And the Sharks, Roosters, probably the only other chances little note for the Raiders, they're $21. They are right in the top 8 at the moment, but they've got a very, very easy draw. So I don't know if I'll be jumping all over the $21, but yeah, it's word of advice. They're going to be probably looking at, or could be looking at a top 4 finish.
Oh, top 4. I like that. Okay, let's have a look at some round 14 results for you, Toprope.
Yeah, it was a good result. Good week, round 14 after a slightly disappointing origin. We got Queensland, but missed out on the total there. Yeah, plus 2.7 units, up 12.56%. We are now up 2.85 units for 2.85% for the year, plus 6.15 units. So yeah, happy with how it's ticking over, and we've got a few bets this week.
Amazing. I can't wait. I love it. Now, punters, if you have not signed up for GGOA or the AFL Stings, you are missing out. You can get that in the Little Birdie live shop. GGOA and AFL Stings, you need them. Let's go to AFL MG. And the first game we're going to look at is Friday night's game, Western Bulldogs and the Port Adelaide. Western Bulldogs $1.96, Port is $1.80. The line's only 2.5 and the over-under $1.65.5. MG.
Yes, cracking game this. Good betting game, as you can see. Port Adelaide, probably surprising at the Dome, being away from home, going to start slight favourites. But if you break down their form, they've won 9 in a row, Port. So very rare for AFL teams to win 10. So they're going to have a tough job to do it. But, geez, they don't mind the Dome either. They've covered their last 8 straight at Marvel. So they like playing there, and they've continued on this year. They've played a couple of games there as well. So, yeah, I'm actually leaning towards Port Adelaide. I just think on the current form, I think the Bulldogs have lost 2 in a row. They've been a bit shaky after looking like they were on fire. I just think their coach has just gone backwards a bit in some of the game plan, I think, and it's a bit query. They just can't score all of a sudden. Yeah. So with Port Adelaide, the way they're going, they're averaging 94 points per game, which compared to the Bulldogs at 77. I just think they're going to have too much options up forward. Their midfield's going as good. It'll be a young midfield against an old, but yeah, I'm leaning towards Port Adelaide as the game gets closer, and I'm going to stay out of the total. I think that's about right at 165.5.
Thanks, MG. All right. Now, NRL, the first game we're going to have a look at is Friday night's game. Manly are taking on the Dolphins. Manly $1.36. The Dolphins $3.15. The line is 8.5 and the over under 45.5.
Yeah, plenty of ins for Manly. Of course, Tom Trebojevic being the most notable one. They got an exemption for that one, Manly, after he picked up a head knock in Origin 1. So we're seeing them betting on the back of that move from 4.5 to 8.5. Tom Gilbert out for the season as well for the Dolphins. So some kind of ins and outs kind of play a big role in the price here. Line's out right from mine. I certainly wouldn't be rushing into laying 8.5 points on Manly. The Dolphins are pretty reliable, 6-3 against the spread as an underdog before more. Like in there, but pretty keen on the total. The over 11-4 and Manly are favoured at Brookvale. The over is hit in 4 or 5 Dolphins came off a loss. So hammer back. Expecting plenty of points at Brookvale.
All right, Brookie, I love it. Okay, now the game that I am really interested in, Carlton are taking on the Bombers. Actually, the Bombers are taking on Carlton. Sunday, 7:15, Carlton, $1.93, Essendon, $1.83. The line, there is no line. The over-under, 59.5. Come on, tell me you're with the Bombers. Surely.
Yes, why would I go against you, Nicky? You're a good judge of football. I'm sure you'll be front and centre at this game with I don't know, for an Essendon supporter, your Carlton seems to be your second team, I think, by association. But yeah, I sound like a bit of a broken record. I sound like Toprope over the last couple of years, keep tipping Melbourne Storm to win the premiership. But I'm just going to keep opposing Carlton until they finally let me down. But they just keep losing. The market keeps backing them. You just keep waiting late. So I would suggest, again, the same this week. If you like Carlton, I don't know why you would, but the money keeps coming for them. I'd get on them early because the price does disappear as the week goes on. And for the sane people and the ones who I'd say good judges would wait for Essendon. You can wait late on the this is a Sunday night game, so no rush to back in. There's plenty of winners to be found before the weekend. But yeah, I like Essendon. I think you'll get, it wouldn't surprise me even if it does flip over and Carlton may start slight favourite in this game with the way it goes. But they've lost 5 in a row. I'm not sure. They're at a low ebb. Their coach is under enormous pressure. Their structure, their scoring, everything. They've got so many crosses against this team. Essendon on the way up. They've won 3 in a row. I like the way they're going about it. They've got speed on the ball, which Carlton don't. So there's a lot of ticks. Defense v offense. Carlton will try and make it a low-scoring game. Essendon don't want that. They want plenty of score. So I just think, I'm just going to stick with Essendon and stay out of Carlton. And I'll probably be here next week saying exactly the same thing, whoever Carlton play next week.
Oh my God, I can't wait to text you through this game. It's going to be great. All right. Now, this is amazing. My two teams, we're going back to back. This is great. You must have known, Borko. Saturday night's game, the Roosters are taking on the Panthers. The Roosters $2.45, Panthers $1.55. The line is 4.5 and the over under 38.5. Top rope. Do we stand a chance?
Yeah, that's real hard down to assess. Probably rather with the Roosters here would have been all over Penrith had Clear have been there, but he's such an important factor in their side. And, this line's moved from 6.5 to 4.5. Cogger played well coming in, but they've got a week to prepare for him. They're well coached, the Roosters. So not rushing into any line plays. And for the numbers dictate Penrith, but hard to take those seriously. One bet I will be having that. I'll be back in the under, lowest total of the week here, but notable. The under is 15-5 on Penrith play without Cleary. It is 10-5 when North conceding 18 plus, 15-8 when they are a single-digit road favourite. So everything lining up for an unders game here. Penrith will be trying to win this and win on defence. So looking at the under in this one.
Thanks, Top Rope. The under's there. Okay, this will be another good game at MG. This is Melbourne and Collingwood. Melbourne $1.92, Collingwood $1.82. No line, over under 167.5. What a weekend of footy.
Good game. This could be one of the games of the season, the way it lines up. Yeah, we've got to wait till Monday. So, it's 8 games over 5 days. It's a long day, long week for us. But anyway, it's be worth waiting for this one. It's obviously the big freeze as well. So they get a big crowd. It'll be a sea of blue there. So make sure if you haven't got your beanies or you're getting to the game, make sure you do get them and support the cause with Neil Danaher. There's been a lot of press this week, and it's always a very good cause that they do. So for the match on the field, this is unbelievable. Third against first. Really looking forward to this one. As we said earlier at the top, Oliver's going to be a key here. He's currently trying to get an infection taken care of. But I think all things being equal, he'll get up and play the game. But I'm just going to wait and see how that shakes out because I'm keen on Collingwood in this game. I can't get the Melbourne performance, even though they won last Friday at Carlton. It was just one of the more horrid games I've seen, to be honest. I don't think Melbourne are going that great. Collingwood are obviously on top of the ladder. They've won 8 straight. They've covered 4 of their last 5. Head-to-head, they've won 4 of their last 5 against Melbourne, including 3 straight. And at the MCG, they're just unbelievable. They've covered their last 7 straight at the MCG. So in a pick'em game, even though Collingwood do lose to Goey, which is going to hurt on the top of side bottom, if Oliver does play, I think Melbourne might start slight favourites, but I'm still going to back Collingwood. And for the total, they did start at low, unfortunately, because it was a Monday game. I thought we'd have a bit more patience in the market, but the market did take off. It started as low as 160, 162. It's at 167. I think this is more a 170 game, so I think it'll still trend towards the overs, but I've unfortunately missed the price, so I'm going to stay out, but I'm keen to back Collingwood on the day Monday.
Oh, Collingwood, they're so exciting to watch at the moment. Okay, now another good game in the NRL. My God, footy's going to be good this weekend. Storm v Sharks. The Storm is $1.55. The Sharks are $2.45. That seems unfair. And the line's 4.5 and the over-under 43.5. Top rope.
Yeah, I don't think the Storm have any blister-related injuries and crises that cause any drama for the Storm. Hopefully they're all fit and healthy. The Storm were, to be honest, that's as bad as I've seen the Storm play. I reckon Bellamy has absolutely torn them apart at training this week. Notable angle here, home teams off conceding 46 plus over the last 4 years, cover at 66%. Big bounce back spot. The Storm, they've won 5 of the last 6 against the Sharks. They've covered 3 of the last 4. Won the last 4 at Amy, almost 16 plus against the Sharks. The Storm, they've covered 12 of 19 when favored by more than try at 80 Park. No real knock on the Sharks here, but going to be with the Storm.
No surprises there. He's with the Storm. Okay, let's have a quick look at the last 5 games. Gold Coast are taking on the West Tigers. Gold Coast $1.80. The West Tigers are 2. The line is 1.5 and over under 46.5.
Yeah, thought I'd be coming to the Tigers here, but I've actually lobbed on the Titans in this one. They've won the last 4, 9 of the last 11 against the Tigers. They've got a great cover record, covered 10 of 13. They've covered 10 of their last 14 at home with a loss of 13 plus. I've got to read with the Titans in this one.
Okay, the Titans and Big Tino. Let's go for the second one. We've got the Raiders and the Warriors. The Raiders $1.52. The Warriors $2.55. The line's 4.5 and the over under 42.5.
Yeah, Jared Croak's 300. I think it's followed by the Warriors. One of the better bets of the week. The Warriors +5, +4.5 here. They've played each other pretty closely. The Warriors covered 4 of the last 5, but this is a bet against the Raiders. They have covered just 16 of their last 50 as a favourite. 6 of 18 as a home favourite is 4 or more, just 16 of 48 off a win. I am all in on the Warriors team, who have covered 5 of their last 7 in Australia, and 6 of 8 as a dog or 4 or more off a win.
Chips in on the Warriors there. Okay, the Dragons are taking on the Rabbitohs. The Dragons $2.65, the Rabbitohs $1.48. The line 6.5, over under 45.5.
No Latrell, no Murray, no Arrow for the Bunnies, but no worries. I'll be with South in this one. South 13 of 3 in their last 16. They've covered 9 of 12. I think it's in a day going. There's plenty of points to be scored in this one. I think that favours the Rabbitohs, and they are the most reliable of favourites. They have 41 and 25 against the spread at win favourite, and they are 24 and 15 against the spread of scoring 30 plus. So, comeback win last week. I think they've got plenty of points there, and I think the Dragons can run it from taking the Lions.
The Bunnies there. Okay. The Broncos and the Knights. Broncos $1.21. The Knights are $4.40. The line is 12.5, and the over under 42.5.
Yeah, best of the week. I got the Broncos minus 12.5 here. They've been playing some wonderful rugby league. I think the Knights are a team that can completely throw the towel in, which is who you want to be against when you are laying a big minus. They've won the last 3, the Broncos against the Knights, all by 13 plus. They've covered 16 of the last 24. The last 6 games at Suncorp between the two. Broncos have won 5, all 5 wins by 13 plus. The Knights 8 and 15 against the spread interstate, and 10 of 33 against the spread off wins. So, chips in the Broncos here.
No problem breaking the Broncos. They are the hotties. Let's go. The Bulldogs and the Eels, they are the hotties. The Bulldogs $2.65, the Eels $1.47. The line is 6.5, and they're over under 43.5. Geez, it was unfair what happened to the Bulldogs on the weekend. From a Chook supporter, that was unfair. I was thinking of Toprope that whole game.
It was dreadfully unfair. I'm not happy
it was
at all with how it played out. But they were tough. But Warriors, probably both sides. Dylan Brown's been stood down by the NRL for his behaviour at Neston Suburbs pub, and Reid Marnie was named, but looks unlikely to play in this independent passing to his 11-day stand down, made exempt. So, no real view. The side would rather be the plus than the minus, but strong bet on the total here. Under with these two bet 14 and 2. It wasn't forgotten kind of those days because the Bulldogs have been so bad of late. The Eels haven't been crashed on either. These teams absolutely despise each other. Probably, once upon a time, the biggest rivalry in rugby league. So, still plenty lingering there. The unders 11 and 5 when the Bulls are underdog. 8 more when they're play at Acorn in the daytime. I'm taking the under in this one.
Okay, the unders there for Toprope. Thank you so much. All right, let's get it at the last 5 AFL games. The Swans taking on the Saints tonight. Swans $1.57. The Saints are $2.40. The line is 8.5. The over under 158.5.
Yes, a celebration of Buddy Franklin plays his 350th game tonight. So one of the all-time great forwards. His record's unbelievable. So I'm sure they'll get a big crowd there tonight. Yep. And it's amazing how the Sydney milestones for Buddy Franklin seem to always play against St Kilda, and he seems to have towers them up. So maybe expect something above normal for Buddy tonight. But yeah, I was real keen on Sydney here. I thought the market came up pretty short at 4.5 at the start of the week. Happy to bet early there. The market's now moved to 8. I think it'll continue to sway Sydney's way. I think Sydney have maybe turned the corner. They've won 2 straight. Not sure where St Kilda are at. Started the season well, just fallen off. So I think Sydney just head-to-head, they've won 13 out of their last 16 head-to-head, and they've covered 8 straight at home against St Kilda. So St Kilda don't like going to the SCG, and I just think the stats dominate. Big occasion for Sydney. They won't let Big Bud down. On the total, I'm just watching. It's currently going to rain this afternoon in Sydney, so it's going to be watching the weather day. The total is trending down from 160 to 157, but if this rain clears and stuff, this will be an over game, and I'll be keen to bet late on the total. So watch out if you're following the Stings. Yeah,
you need to be on the Stings for that one. Okay, thanks, MG. Let's go to the next one. Hawthorn, Brisbane. Hawthorn, $4.25. The Brisbane, $1.20. The line's 25.5, and the over-under 169.5.
Yeah, solid markets in both the line and total. I'm actually playing in both of these. I like Brisbane. I know they're away from home. The MCG is not a great hunting ground for them. Off the bye, the freshen up I like. Hawthorn were disgraceful last week, first half against Port Adelaide. Gave up nearly 100 points. And I just think Brisbane have won 7 straight before they lost to Adelaide before the bye. Often happens when you're going on a run and then you come into the bye, you kind of look ahead of yourself. So I'm just going to give them a pass mark on that. I reckon they'll freshen up. They've just got too much offense for Hawthorn. They'll get dry conditions at the MCG. And I just think Brisbane have covered eight out of the 11 this year. I really like them. I think 24-25 is pretty cheap. And for the total, these two have got 9 and 4 for the overs, and they've got a very high average of 190 points per game, which is extraordinary in the history. So yeah, I think 169, 170 is cheap. So double bet in this game, Nick.
Couple of plays there for MG. All right, let's go to Adelaide and the West Coast. Oh my God, Adelaide $1.02, West Coast 12. The line's 57.5, and the over under 176.5.
Yeah, leave me out of this game. I'm not sure I've bet in too many West Coast games this year. I just think they're, no one likes to hear the word tanking and stuff like that, but they're not trying. They're not AFL standard, unfortunately. I know they've got a lot of injuries, but their efforts are appalling. They've lost 10 straight now, all by more than 40.5, and I just can't get involved in these games. The market's gone completely Adelaide's way. It's climbing up through the high 50s. It might start over 60, but yeah, I just can't bring myself to bet in West Coast games. I'll pass.
Yep. And the bookies would love it if you didn't bet in them either. All right. The Freo are taking on Richmond. Freo $1.46, Richmond $2.60. The line's 14.5, and the over under 163.5.
Yeah, geez, the Tigers, they're up and down. Freo are going well before the bye. They're coming off the bye. They'd won 4 straight off the bye, so no fears with the Dockers. They're obviously at home. Listen, it started at minus 18.5 for Freo, and I thought Richmond were a good bet. I thought 18.5 was too big, so I was happy to bet early in the week. It has come down. The market's trended that way to 14. There are a few crosses for Richmond. They're off a 6-day break, and they've got to travel to Perth, so neither one of those are ideal. And also, they're very hard to catch. They're up and down. So there are a few factors against. I just think with the rain forecast at the moment, they're expecting anywhere from 2 to 10 mils. It'll bring it down. Might be a low-scoring game. So I just think with the start with Richmond, and they do excel in the wet, Nick. So I think Richmond are a good bet there at the plus.
Oh, Richmond at the plus for MG. Okay, now we've got North Melbourne taking on the GWS. North Melbourne $2.60, GWS $1.46. The line's 15.5, and the over under is 175.5. Yes,
I actually like the Kangaroos here. They posted plus 20.5. Just thought it was too big in the market.
Yeah.
I know, listen, the stats don't read great. They've won 2 games for the year. They've lost 10 straight, but their last 3 weeks have been pretty good since the coach change.
Yep.
And I just think whatever's changed a bit, they could have easily won 2 out of their last 3. They should have beaten Sydney, and they choked. And they had their chances last week against your side. So I just think the plus 20.5, the Giants aren't going great at all. They've only won four games for the year. They've been in a lot of close games as well. So I think North will be competitive, and I think the plus is the way to go in this one.
Plus there for North Melbourne. All right. Thank you to MG and Toprope. That is a wrap for this week. Remember, you can get the GGOA and the AFL Stings. GGOA is $33 a week. AFL Stings is $25. They are both in the Little Birdie live shop for all of your betting action. Okay, that is it for Thursday Lines. Thanks to OB for being sick today. I've enjoyed my little cameo. Follow us on YouTube. Get our podcast everywhere you get your good podcasts from: Apple Store, Spotify, SoundCloud. Follow us on socials, Little Birdie TV. We are on Twitter and Insta. We look forward to seeing you next week. Hopefully OB is back. Happy punting. See you then.